His journey began in the United States Marine Corps, where his leadership and prowess quickly elevated him to the rank of lieutenant colonel. After his commendable service in the Marines, Simmons transitioned into the United States Secret Service. His exceptional skill set and dedication to his country did not go unnoticed, leading to his recruitment into the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Within the CIA, Simmons was chosen by Director Jason Wynn for a special top-secret initiative known as the U.S. Security Group, USSG. This elite task force, with jurisdiction over both domestic and international threats, marked the pinnacle of Simmons' career in service. However, Simmons' relationship with Director Wynn grew contentious, prompting plans for resignation. Before he could act on these plans, Simmons was betrayed and murdered during a covert operation in Botswana, part of the USSG's Operation Night Strike. His assassin, initially introduced as fellow mercenary Bruce Stinson, aka Chapel, was later revealed to be Jessica Priest on Wynn's orders. Simmons' death was not the end, but the beginning of a dark and tumultuous path. Condemned to hell for his life's violent deeds, Simmons struck a bargain with the infernal being Malebolgia. In exchange for his servitude as a Hellspawn, Simmons was granted the chance to see his wife, Wanda Blake, one last time. Simmons' return to Earth as a Hellspawn marked a new chapter filled with confusion, betrayal, and a quest for redemption. With a disfigured body, a mind stripped of many memories, and powers beyond understanding, he struggled to grasp his new reality. 5 years had passed since his death, and the world he knew had moved on without him. His encounter with Wanda revealed a life painfully altered. She had remarried Simmons' best friend, Terry Fitzgerald, and they had a daughter, Cayenne. Haunted by his past and navigating the moral complexities of his new existence, Simmons, now known as Spawn, embarked on a journey fraught with battles against forces of darkness and light alike. His early actions, though vengeful and chaotic, began to take on a semblance of purpose. Spawn defended those marginalized and forgotten, earning both allies and enemies in the supernatural and human worlds. Yet, his struggle against his creators and the very forces that sought to control him was only just beginning. As Spawn grappled with his new existence, his actions increasingly reflected a struggle not just against external foes, but an internal quest for identity and purpose. The alleys of New York, particularly a forsaken corner known as Rat City, became his refuge and battleground. Here, amidst the forgotten and the lost, Spawn found something akin to a community. His protection of the homeless and disenfranchised earned him their loyalty and respect, marking the emergence of an anti-hero guided by a twisted sense of justice. The arrival of adversaries such as Overkill, a formidable enforcer of organized crime, and Billy Kincaid, a despicable child molester and murderer, provided Spawn with opportunities to channel his rage and newfound powers against those who preyed on the innocent. Each victory, however brutal, underscored Spawn's refusal to become a puppet of hell, even as he wrestled with the moral implications of his actions. Spawn's universe expanded with encounters that blurred the lines between myth and reality, good and evil. The presence of characters like Cerebus the Aardvark and the confrontations with Anti-Spawn, a twisted mirror of his own alter ego created by Jason Wynn and the Redeemer, showcased the complexity of Spawn's world. Allies, too, appeared in unexpected forms. The old bum known as Cogliostro, bearing secrets of the Hellspawn lineage, and the Clown, a malevolent guide with his own agenda, represented the dual paths of redemption and damnation laid before Spawn. The metamorphosis of his suit, a living entity bound to his very soul, became a symbol of Spawn's evolution. From a shroud of rags to a more formidable armor, this transformation mirrored his internal struggle. The suit's ability to shift shape, channel necroplasmic energy, and even act independently highlighted the symbiotic and sometimes contentious relationship between Spawn and his otherworldly powers. Amidst these trials, Spawn's humanity flickered in moments of compassion and clarity. Resurrecting his friend Bobby, slain in the alleys he sought to protect, showcased Spawn's refusal to wholly succumb to the darkness within. Yet, the path to redemption was fraught with reminders of his past sins and the ongoing manipulation by celestial beings intent on using him as a pawn in their cosmic games. As Spawn navigated this chaotic existence, his journey took him beyond the confines of Earth to confront the very forces that sought to control his fate. The battles in heaven and hell against beings of unimaginable power were not just physical confrontations, but reflections of his inner turmoil. Spawn's quest for justice, identity, and redemption became a testament to the enduring struggle between light and darkness within us all. In the early days following his infernal rebirth, Al Simmons, now Spawn, found himself ensnared in a web of cosmic manipulation and personal torment. Spawn's attempts to reconnect with Wanda were fraught with pain and complexity. Discovering that Wanda had remarried his best friend, Terry Fitzgerald, and that they had a daughter together. This personal anguish was a constant undercurrent in his battles against the forces that sought to control him. The Violator, a demonic entity tasked with guiding and testing Hell's new soldier, emerged as one of Spawn's most persistent adversaries. This creature, able to shift between a grotesque clown and a monstrous demon, was not just a physical threat, but a psychological tormentor, embodying the cruelty and sadism of Hell itself. Jason Wynn, the orchestrator of Simmons' death, and a man of considerable power and corruption within government circles, remained a symbol of earthly treachery. Wynn's dealings with the underworld and his role in the larger cosmic game being played out made him a pivotal figure in Spawn's quest for vengeance and justice. The early confrontations between Spawn and these adversaries were not just battles for survival, but steps on a path towards understanding his new existence and the powers that came with it. Amid these struggles, Spawn's burgeoning powers and the sentient symbiotic suit he wore became both a blessing and a curse. His encounters with otherworldly beings, from angels seeking to destroy him to other Hellspawns who offered glimpses into his possible futures, highlighted the vastness of the universe he now inhabited. Yet, it was his humanity, his enduring connection to Wanda, and the injustices he saw in the world around him that shaped his actions the most. As Spawn's understanding of his place in the cosmic balance grew, so too did his resolve to use his powers for a purpose greater than himself. His battles against street-level crime and larger threats became less about vengeance and more about protection. The alleys of New York, particularly the forgotten and forlorn residents of Rat City, provided a backdrop for Spawn to act as a guardian of those society had abandoned. The journey from vengeful spirit to protector of the downtrodden was fraught with challenges and revelations. Spawn's encounters with figures like Cogliostro, a former Hellspawn who sought to guide him, and his own inner demons, underscored the internal battles that were as fierce as those he fought in the physical world. The complex relationships with allies and enemies alike added layers to Spawn's character, transforming him from a mere pawn of Hell into a figure of significant power and agency. In the grand saga of cosmic conflicts and the battle for souls, Spawn's early struggles laid the foundation for a saga that would extend far beyond the initial skirmishes in the back alleys of New York. His fight against Wynn, the Violator, and his own demons set the stage for a journey that would challenge the very notions of destiny, free will, and redemption. While the later storylines would expand the scope of Spawn's universe to include battles that spanned heaven, hell, and all creation, it was these early days that defined the heart of Spawn's story, a tale of love lost, power reclaimed, and a ceaseless quest for redemption. Spawn's epic journey is a roller coaster of redemption, battles for the soul, and downright epic crossovers that have kept fans on the edge of their seats. Let's dive into the highlights and wrap-up moments of Al Simmons' adventures, along with the unforgettable cameos that spice up his already intense story. From Hell and Back, the ultimate showdown. Imagine this. Spawn, a guy who's been through the ringer, faces off against heaven and hell. It's not just a fight, it's a cosmic chess match with Spawn emerging as a king. He shakes the foundations of the universe, forcing God and Satan to take a timeout. This showdown wasn't just about throwing punches, it was Spawn carving out his place in the cosmos, proving he's not anyone's pawn. A fresh start, resurrection, and redemption. Al Simmons, tired of the endless cycle of violence and betrayal, decides to end it all, hoping for peace. But peace isn't in the cards for him. Instead, he's pulled back into the fray, reborn with a clearer sense of purpose. His return isn't just a second act, it's a mission to protect those caught in the crossfire of celestial wars and to make amends for past sins. Epic encounters. When worlds collide. Spawn's world collides with some of the biggest names out there. His team-up and throwdown with Batman is more than just a clash of styles. It's two worlds meeting, highlighting what makes each hero tick. Then, there's the face-off with Cerebus the Aardvark, adding a dash of the absurd to Spawn's usually grim setting. And let's not forget Image United, where Spawn stands shoulder to shoulder with the legends of the Image universe against threats too big for any one hero. Legacy and impact, more than just a Hellspawn. Through every trial, every battle, Spawn has evolved. He started as a tormented soul seeking vengeance, but grew into a guardian of the forgotten and a challenger of the divine order. His journey from the depths of hell to the heights of cosmic power is a testament to resilience and the quest for redemption. Why it matters. Spawn's story is more than just a series of battles and crossovers. It's a saga of growth, redemption, and the gray areas in between. His run-ins with characters from other universes aren't just cool Easter eggs. They highlight his complexity and the universal themes of his journey. Through it all, Spawn remains a character who defies easy categorization, a hero or anti-hero, for those who look beyond the black and white. Here's a comprehensive rundown of every trick, trait, and power Spawn has up his metaphorical sleeves. Superhuman strength and durability. Spawn possesses strength that far exceeds human norms. He can lift cars, punch through walls, and go toe-to-toe with demons and angels. His durability allows him to withstand bullets, extreme temperatures, and powerful energy blasts without sustaining significant damage. Necroplasmic energy manipulation. At the core of Spawn's abilities is his control over necroplasm, the substance of hell itself. This energy allows him to create, shape, and manipulate objects, form constructs, and unleash devastating blasts. Shape-shifting. Spawn can alter his appearance at will, mimicking any individual or creating disguises, making him a master of infiltration and deception. Healing and regeneration. He can rapidly heal from injuries that would be fatal to humans, including regrowing lost limbs and recovering from wounds inflicted by celestial weapons to some extent. Teleportation. Spawn can teleport across vast distances, including interdimensional travel. This allows him to escape danger, surprise foes, or quickly traverse between Earth, Heaven, and Hell. Resurrection. He has the power to bring the dead back to life, although this ability is rarely used due to its unpredictable outcomes and high energy cost. Elemental control. Spawn can manipulate elements such as fire, water, earth, and air, often using these abilities to create barriers, weapons, or to influence the environment to his advantage. Telepathy and mind control. He can read thoughts, influence actions, and even control minds to some degree. This psychic ability extends to creating illusions and manipulating perceptions. Time manipulation. Spawn has shown the ability to freeze time, travel through time, and even send others forward or backward in time, albeit with significant energy expenditure and concentration. Soul manipulation. He can see and interact with souls, including those trapped in hell or wandering the earth. This allows him to communicate with the deceased and manipulate soul energy. Dimensional and portal creation. Spawn can open portals to other dimensions, facilitating travel or summoning creatures to aid him. Symbiotic costume, K7 Letha. Spawn's costume is a living entity connected to his will, providing him with protection, the ability to create chains and spikes as weapons, and even act independently to protect him. The costume feeds on necroplasm and can grow stronger from absorbing evil energy. Energy sensing. He can sense the presence of supernatural beings, detect sources of magic, and discern the nature of energies around him. Flight. Thanks to his cape and the mystical energy he commands, Spawn can fly at high speeds, outmaneuvering most opponents and obstacles. Invisibility and intangibility. Spawn can become invisible to the naked eye and phase through solid objects, making him nearly impossible to capture or contain. Immunity to fire and heat. Given his hellish origins, Spawn is immune to damage from fire and extreme heat, often using fire as a weapon without risk to himself. Magical knowledge. Beyond his inherent powers, Spawn has accumulated vast knowledge of magical spells, rituals, and artifacts, enhancing his capabilities and allowing him to counter other magical beings. Necroplasmic flame projection. He can project hellfire, a mystical flame that burns even in the absence of physical fuel and can harm both physical and ethereal beings. Cosmic awareness. Spawn possesses an understanding of the cosmic balance, the forces of heaven and hell, and the movements of celestial beings, granting him insight into the larger cosmic picture. These abilities, combined with his military training and hand-to-hand combat skills, make Spawn one of the most powerful beings in the Image Comics universe. However, his powers are not limitless. Using them depletes his necroplasmic energy, which can potentially lead to his return to hell if not managed carefully. The necroplasmic energy reserve. Spawn's power is not infinite. Each use of his supernatural abilities drains this reserve of necroplasmic energy. When Spawn engages in battles, uses his powers for healing, or exerts himself to perform feats of magic, this energy depletes. The looming threat of this time running out adds a layer of tension to Spawn's endeavors, as excessive use of his powers could hasten his damnation. Manipulating the countdown. Spawn, however, is not one to accept his fate passively. Throughout the comics, he seeks ways to replenish or even manipulate his necroplasmic reserves. One of the pivotal moments in the series occurs when Spawn confronts the very nature of his existence and the rules that Hell has imposed on him. By understanding the nature of his powers and the reality of the Hellspawn, he discovers loopholes and methods to extend or reset his energy count, thus defying the limitations set by Malebolgia and other hellish overseers. This manipulation is not without its challenges. Spawn's efforts to secure more power 1997. It received generally negative reviews and grossed $87.9 million worldwide against a production budget. Regarding his initial meeting with HBO executives for the project, Todd McFarlane recalled, "I wanted to ask one question. Can I say the F word? If they let me do that, there's 100 other things I could get away with too." He also remarked in 1997, "People have such a stereotype about animation. They immediately think cartoons and Disney. They're not used to seeing Silence of the Lambs, The Godfather, and Seven all in one cartoon, but that's what they're getting." HBO granted the show a $6 million budget for its first season. It was produced in Los Angeles, although McFarlane lived in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, stating in a 2021 interview, "I was flying into Century City every week while we were doing that, for 3 years." It ended in 1999 following the conclusion of the third season. A fourth season was originally planned, but never came to fruition. Some critics believe that the series was overshadowed by the poorly received film adaptation of Spawn, which also debuted in the summer of 1997. Now, this news claimed it was one of the most shocking shows on TV in the 90s, and that it set a new bar for mature animation. Todd McFarlane's Spawn was ranked 5th on IGN's list of the greatest comic book cartoons of all time, a sequel series titled Spawn. The animation was in development in 2004 and was set to be released in 2007, with Keith David reprising his role, but due to McFarlane wanting to push the animation further, the project ended up in production limbo until it was quietly canceled. Keith David would go on to reprise Spawn as a guest character for Mortal Kombat 11 in 2019. Spawn began a resurgence in popularity as the title approached its 300th issue, with the title once again becoming a fixture in Diamond's Top 100. The 300th issue made Spawn the longest-running independent comic book series of all time. If you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.